All right, Patrick Royce, quick, tell us the last time the Wild scored fewer than 3 goals in a game.
Holy cow. Had to be on that road trip when they were at San Jose and Las Vegas and San Jose.
It was the home game against San Jose on November 16th is the last time they didn't score 3 goals in a game. Well, when there's a shootout win that they give you a goal for winning a shootout against the Devils. So technicality, but
it is pretty amazing. Now you got 2 real hockey guys with you there, but I always recall when Josi had the best record in the league after 30 games. This ain't that. This is real. That was never real. That his first full year as the coach, right?
Yes.
First, they were after 30 games, and I think they won 7 of their last 52 in regulation. That isn't going to happen with this team. This team is real, and Talbot, playing as well as he did last year, starts making you think he is really a good goalie. He's not just one of those goalies that's up and down and all around. And, it's real, man. It's real. There's just, let's see. The playoffs start late, right? Because of the dumb Olympic thing.
Yeah, because of the Olympics.
Correct.
So, I used to have June games. Will we have July games this year if we make the finals?
I think they're getting out by some point in late June. Okay. I think they're going to get back to getting out by late June.
When they get back from the Olympics, though, they're going to be playing 4 games a week, right? Basically, there's very, very little time off. But, it's Dean Evason, give him the Coach of the Year award already, right?
I'm right.
He doesn't have to sit around and wait and see who's going to win that one. Unbelievable.
I'm just here for Dean Evason's facial expressions. He's got the best facial expressions of any coach in the league. Just that he's always got that look on his face like,
He seems to be. You don't see many rants behind the bench. We don't get to play Boods on this road trip, do we?
No, they're not going to Vancouver.
Okay.
No.
It was a 4-game road trip. I didn't know if they went to Vancouver or not. Boots has won it all. He won his opener out there. Josi got beat, I saw, in his first game. So
yes,
maybe he'll break a stick in practice to show what's up.
You know what the most alarming headline I saw in the hockey roundup today was? Not Wild win again. Of course, that's up to do. The Islanders had lost 11 in a row before last night, before Anders Lee scored a winner for them. How'd that happen?
Long COVID break. They had it go through the team and shut down for like 3 games and weren't playing well before that and had lost a bunch of guys and then came back and I think lost a game or 2.
Poor Zach, man. He's missing out all this. He's missing out on all this.
How do you think
excitement here in Minnesota? He could be getting a 4th line shift, couldn't he?
How do you think Parise and Suits feel right now when they pick up the paper?
Suits probably okay, huh? He's getting his minutes and everything, but Parise's got to say, why didn't I reach a financial settlement with them and just, watch my kids play hockey here in Minnesota or some damn thing, right? I don't know. I mean, Suter's still got, as a defenseman, he's got 5 years left, don't you think?
Well, sure, but he thought he was an integral part of the team here. He thought he was really important. It's like, well, and now he's gone and they're a lot better.
Yeah, well, that's true. That is true. They got their 5 years worth out of him, and then they had to pay him more for 2 or 3 years, and now they're out. Now they're done.
I heard he was able to get the Stars to practice in Edina a couple weeks ago, and they were in town though, so that's good.
When did that story surface?
That was probably about 3 weeks ago. Tori Mitchell went on a podcast.
Oh, okay. And so was we're now that they're gone, we can really kick them in the groin, huh? That's good. Okay.
Well,
Tori, why didn't you say that, Tori, 2 years ago?
Well, Tori Mitchell lives out, I think, in like Vermont or something, and those guys are still in the league. So I don't think he was waiting for them to leave the Wild. I think he just was asked a question.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway.
I don't think Tori Mitchell's a coward, I guess, is what I'm saying. I don't know.
Why did you?
But what I'm saying is, somebody on the team tell me, hey, these two dummies want us to go out in Edina and practice. Somebody, come on, let's get the scandal while they're still here.
No, instead, didn't half the team was like, I guess we'll move to Edina then.
Yeah, Stahl's like, oh man, this is great. I'm going to move to Edina and retire here. I'll never be traded or cut. This is fantastic. It's the Wild retirement home.
I'm not I pretty much try to jump when my wife says how high and stuff. But in sports, if you're a professional sports athlete, never listen to your wife, right? Never listen to you. You make the decisions. You're paying the bills. She comes along with you. Okay, none of this. Oh, I want to go home and play. And, none of that crapola.
But the wife doesn't get a say at all.
If you're happy in New Jersey, stay out there and play. Don't come home just because she wants you to. I mean,
what the problem with marriage is, the husband spends a long time assuming the wife wants him there. See,
yes,
so
true.
You can buy her. If I'm Suits, yes. I'm like, honey, we will buy you a palatial estate in Edina. I meanwhile might be playing for the Kings, the Rangers, the Islanders. I don't know where I'll be. And you know what? Because we're apart for like 5 or 6 years, our marriage will be better. It'll be better. My 2 years in Green Bay, absolutely the greatest point of my marriage ever, probably, Pat.
I called Tony a couple times. He called me back yesterday, so we talked for about 15 minutes, and Gordette was on the phone too. And I said, Tony, I said to my wife after I did that story on you two guys being married for 53 years, why aren't you as nice to me as Gordette is to Tony? And my wife said, because you're not as nice as Tony. That's it. And they got a good chuckle out of that. So anyway, he is a happy man, by the way. Anyway, that's another thought. But yeah. I mean, if you're an athlete and making big money and paying bills, and now same thing if you're a WNBA player and the husband, your whatever is trying to raise hell with you, you say, no, I'm the boss. I'm making the money here. I'm not going to Minnesota. I'm very happy here, but I'll buy you a house in Minnesota and drop in when we're playing there. So I think
we need a top 10 list just for Declan and I and all the young lads out there. Judd and Royce's top 10 pieces of marriage advice.
Watch TV downstairs.
Okay.
Write these down.
Yep, like this.
Different room. That makes it. Have sports downstairs and whatever we watch upstairs, and occasionally get together and watch a movie together or a TV series and stuff like that. But separation makes the heart go fonder. That would be my number one.
Always ask yourself this question too before any comment that might be deemed, and the key word there is might, as critical. Is it worth it?
Yeah, that's true.
Is it worth it? Like,
Judd, it's funny. It was only like 2-3 months ago I realized that I kept saying what was on my mind, and unless it's really, really important, don't say it.
Yeah, you don't need to win. You don't need to get a first down 10 times in a day.
That's right. Punt a lot. Punt on.
Yeah.
Murray. We used to get really mad at Murray Warmath because when he was in bad situations in the early '60s and he had great defense, he'd punt on third down all the time. Punt on third down. That's the
key to marriage. Punt on third down.
Royce's marriage advice book.
I sat in for the first time on a full, just 15, 16 minutes Ben Johnson press conference yesterday. I'm more impressed with that guy than I thought I was. He's always been a nice enough guy, but he's not. Now he's 7-0 and he hasn't played anybody, and they're probably going to get their come to Jesus moment tonight against Michigan State, who could send 3 big men at poor. I sounded like Clem there, big men.
Big mans.
Send 3 guys at Eric Curry and try to foul him out, and then there'd be in luck. But there's no paranoia. It's like, You ask him a question, he answers it, and it's not cliche-filled stuff. He seems very sure of himself without an egomaniacal way about it. You know, he's young, he's learning, but I'm very impressed with him. And then Battle and Curry came in for 15, 20 minutes, and none of that looking at the other guy saying, can I say this and stuff like, you know, it was all, they were both off the cuff and talking and having a good old time. It seems like you know, now if you get up 2-18 in the Big Ten, we'll see what happens to that vibe. But the vibe was really good yesterday. I thought I was they might have.
Well, they're literally playing like a 6-man rotation. That Mississippi State win wasn't bad. Mississippi State, they're not a top 25 team, but I think they had one loss going in, and it's a Power 5 team. It's a decent win.
And Pittsburgh on their own. Pittsburgh couldn't make a shot if you locked them in the gym, but by themselves. But you know, that's still a road win. So they're people are saying, I never expected them to be 7-0. No, but you probably expected them to be 5-2, right? So it's not even with this collection. But Sutherland, their 6th man, got hurt, but I think he's going to play. And if he doesn't, did you see where this guy that came off the bench to replace Sutherland played before this? Will Ramberg?
No.
McGill. In Montreal,
it's a hot,
in Montreal or Toronto or
no
wherever.
Kidding.
He's from a power program in Canada. How they found him, Brett McGill, I have no idea. I was talking to somebody close to the program last night, and it wasn't so much the transfers that they didn't get. They thought they were going to get, you know, had a chance to get some of the big guys like Garcia and those guys, and they, you know, we went to North Carolina and stuff like that. But it was some of the dummies who left, who, you know, that could have stayed, you know, that went to same level or lower programs to transfer when everybody started transferring, who would have, if they'd stayed here, they'd be getting more minutes than they'd be getting at San Jose State, you know, because backup big men and stuff like that. There's just a lot of guys transferred who 3 or 4 of them transferred when it was just ridiculous to transfer. That just everybody else was doing it, so they did it. And it's not because anybody disliked Ben Johnson. There wasn't great loyalty to Patino, other than Mashburn. I mean, Mashburn, good for him. He transferred, but and he knew he was going to be a star. But some of these other guys who were just fringe players who transferred anyway, they could have been playing here and giving them some depth. That's kind of stupid.
I love these college coaches. You'd have to tell me how Patino's doing it. Was it New Mexico or New Mexico? It's New Mexico, right?
Yeah.
But like they either get fired or they jump to a new job, and just immediately, like their entire lives and everything, their social media, you know, Patino is, I think he's like NM Lobos Patino now. The next day on Twitter, It's like, Lobos, we love the Lobos. Like, if you would have asked Patino, I could tell you, I mean, like he was perplexed at some of the Minnesota things over the years, right? Yeah. Like, you know, this is these Midwestern manners and stuff. If you would have asked him 5 years ago about New Mexico, what do you think? Yeah. Would you ever coach at New Mexico? He would have scoffed, but you know, your life changes.
You know what? After year 2, was it year 1, year 2 that the word was out? Alabama wanted to hire him, and you know, all that. So I'm sure he thought if he left Minnesota, it would be for a better program, not for the Mountain West Conference. Now, New Mexico does have a fairly good basketball history and a great old gym, the Pit, you know, and they have a pretty good support, but you're still, you know, playing Wyoming. You're not playing Michigan and Michigan State like these guys are this week.
No. Vikings-Steelers, sir, Thursday night.
Vikes win.
You and Mac?
Yep.
Okay.
They got some defensive guys. They got some defensive guys back, and every time they go to the cliff, they come back. They haven't jumped yet. They haven't jumped off the. I think I said yesterday or Monday talking to Joe that it's like Thelma and Louise, but they hit the brakes, before they go fly, before the vehicle goes flying into the canyon. They hit the brakes and go, and stop them. The front two tires are out over the cliff. But we'll have a big story over the weekend if they lose Thursday. Zim will be gone. Zim is not going to make it. If they lose Thursday, Zim's gone. That's my.
You think so? In season, huh?
Yeah, because he got 10 days.
Write that down.
The next game. Yeah.
What do you think?
Will be the interim.
Yeah, and Judd's been sleuthing a little bit that the maybe the Wilfs are more open to big changes than in previous years. What do you think? I mean, I know that you're not picking up the phone and getting a straight answer from the Wilfs, but do you think their appetite for when I say big changes, I mean, would they let go Spielman and Zimmer in the same cycle here?
Yes, I think so. I still think Spielman has a really good chance to survive if they don't make the playoffs, but they might. Even if it's my belief they're the number one motivators behind this Cousins deal, they agreed that if they got Cousins, that was the missing piece, right? And it cost them a lot of money, and they're paying to the cap anyway, like everybody else, and still making $200 billion. So who cares? But I think that they probably would like to have their money spent more wisely than Spielman. They'd probably get sick of, hey, we got to sign, hey, Ziggy and Mark, we got to sign Anthony Barr. He's too important. And then he makes 5 plays in 4 years after you give him the big contract. And decisions like that are probably what's going to get him. Yeah. And they probably buy into the narrative. Why can't Spielman fix the offensive line after all these years and stuff, use all these draft choices. So I think there's a good chance they'd blow them both out. But as I said, Spielman's best chance to survive is to get Zimmer fired during the season, I think. That's
interesting.
I think they win Thursday though, and we don't have this. If they win Thursday, he's going to make it to the finish line, don't you think, Zimmer? He'll make it.
I think he might make it. I think he might make it either way.
This is your opening to fire him because you got 10 days before the next game. So
the problem is this has just been a painful season, though. The stops and the starts, and it's like, oh my God, I would almost.
I gotta think we have one more COVID crisis in it, Stu, don't we?
I really thought Kirk at some point in time would show positive.
You still got 5 weeks left,
But now I'd be like, I'm not surprised, and do I care? I thought it would be in the midst of a playoff.
I don't want him to get COVID. I don't think he's a good quarterback, but
I don't want him to die. But I mean, if he doesn't get that sick, does it matter at this
Judd
point?
Is opposed to Cousins dying. Okay.
I don't want people to die. I don't want anyone to die.
That's the best one I heard since I was listening to Meat Sauce way back 15 years ago when he was starting off with his noon show. And he and his, he told us, read this story about this guy who was having sex with a passed out woman on the sidewalk. And his excuse was he thought she was dead. And that, and both Meat Sauce and whoever his guy was agreed that it didn't make any difference.
I think that one's worse.
I always congratulate him for being pro-necrophilia. I mean, anti-necrophilia.
Anti.
I think that's much worse than my take about I'm just waiting for the next shoe to drop with Kirk Cousins.
He probably gets a little sick of it when I run into him after all these years. You still anti-necrophilia there?
He's actually pro now. It's crazy.
He might
people change over time.
Yes, they do. Yeah, as you get older.
Thanks to you, I've thought about it a lot, and now,
this has been a very tasteless show, but
it really has. That's okay. It's okay. Well, we'll definitely
to your wife and
well, wait a second here. We gave valuable advice to young married people, Pat. That's not tasteless. It's realistic.
Yes, we only have one divorce between us. So what the hell?
Yeah, you guys are doing pretty well.
67%.
All right, Pat. Good luck with the wife, and we'll talk to you on Friday.
All right.
Rapping with Royce today was presented by our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. Federated's all about risk management. They're here to help business owners. There's a full list of industries Federated protects at federatedinsurance.com. Bottom line protection, employee protection. It's like your offensive line, but a better one than the Vikings are providing, old Kirky boy. Federatedinsurance.com. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours.